Hi everyone, thank you for stopping by. It's Mindy with Mindy Egan Design, and today I am very excited to be showing you two cards that I created using the new Stampin' Foil Mates and stamp sets by Gina K Designs and Thermoweb. These are some amazing new stamp sets that coordinate beautifully with the foil sets, and we'll be doing a little foiling today. First, I'm going to show you one of the new stamp sets that's coming out. This one is called Baby It's Cold Outside, and it has all of these beautiful layering snowflakes and sentiments. And these are the coordinating foil mates sheets that you can purchase. There is a pack of 10 of the Baby It's Cold Outside, and there's also a pack of 10 of the Holly Jolly foil mates, and I'll show you that stamp set in a little bit in the video. But I just wanted to give you a look at what I'll be using today in my cards. And you can see the beautiful layering that we'll be able to do. So first, I'm going to start off by using the Baby It's Cold Outside Foil Mates sheet, and this has a bunch of different of these snowflake designs on here that you can layer. So I do alternate between using the Moonlit Fog ink from Gina K Designs and also some powder blue. I thought would be a beautiful mix to make some snowflakes. And then I'll also be using some of the blue and silver foil to do the foiling for these. So you can see I'm lining these up, and I do cut out part of the video there because I really had to get my head over the images to be able to line these up really nice with the foil that's on there. What this is printed on is toner, and that is what makes the foil stick. So we can stamp over these, and then we'll run these through the laminator and choose whatever color foil we would like, and that foil is going to stick to the black ink or the toner that's on these foil sheets. So you can see I'm lining up all these different layers of snowflakes. You can create a lot of beautiful snowflakes with this. And you can also do just stamp layering too. So you can mix up if you just want to use the stamp set and do some layering that way as well. And see, these create some beautiful snowflakes. Now that all of my stamping is done, I'm going to cut apart some pieces of my foil. Now this one here is a brilliant blue, and it's just a gorgeous foil that has some beautiful sparkle to it. And this one is sparkling silver. It's kind of like little stars on the background there. It's just gorgeous. And what I like to do, since I had used a few different ink colors, I wanted to mix and match my snowflakes and the foil. So I'm going to go through and I'm cutting each of these snowflakes individually apart. You could just run one whole sheet of foil over it if you prefer, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit and have some of the blue and silver. You could even do gold if you have that too. And then I'm going to take the foil and I'm cutting these to fit my cutout snowflakes. I want to make sure that I have a big enough piece of foil that it'll cover all of that toner or the black ink that's on there. So you can see I'll be placing that over the top, laying that down in my parchment paper. So you want the toner side up and then the dull side of the foil facing down. So shiny side will be up because that's what you're going to see when it's done. And then I have the folded piece of the parchment paper, or where the crease is, that's going to be the first part that I put into my laminator. And so I'll open this up now that I ran that through my laminator. And I'm using a Royal Sovereign for my laminator, so I made sure to have that heating up for probably about a half hour. So it does take a little while to warm up. And here are these beautiful snowflakes. Now this one is with a sparkling silver foil, and so all of that foil stuck to where the black is. So we have the silver on top of the black, and that silver is mixed with my ink color, whatever I had chosen. So now I'm going to take some of the pieces with the brilliant blue, and I'll run that through my laminator. And you'll be able to see this gorgeous blue that it left behind. And it really has a great sparkle to it. And so I did this for all of my snowflakes that I had cut out. And I'll put these off on the side until I'm ready to die cut. So here's a look at all my snowflakes that I had cut out individually and are now foiled. And I really liked Gina's trick with how to line up the dies, especially for these snowflakes that have some really tricky areas when it comes to getting all of those corners. And the dies do leave a really nice white border around them. So what I did is Gina's trick of where she die cut these out of some scratch paper first. So that's going to be my template to die cut out my actual snowflake. So I'm lining this up with the snowflake there, making sure it's an even border all the way around as best as I can. And then I'm going to take some Thermoweb purple tape and I'm going to tape down this template to my foiled image to hold it in place. That way it won't bump or move when I start getting ready to put it on my die cutting machine. So I'm just ripping off a few strips so I can go ahead and get that attached. And some of these I will have to run through it twice, which was okay. These are totally worth it because they're absolutely gorgeous. And you may not have to tape all the way around like I did or in both of these areas, but I bumped it a couple times when I was playing around with them, and this was just the safest bet for me. So then I can take the coordinating dies and they just kind of pop right into place. They fit like a puzzle. So you just kind of shimmy it a little bit till it fits into there, and then I can hold those dies down with the purple tape and run these all through my die cutting machine. So now I have these three that I just wanted to show you quick that I had run through my Big Shot, and they cut out perfectly. Another great thing about Gina's dies is you don't have to cut them apart. So no wire snips needed. They're already pre-cut, ready for you to use, and they cut wonderfully. So here are those three, and I'll do this for the remaining snowflakes that I had. Now what I wanted to do for my card is create a background with all of these gorgeous sparkling snowflakes. So I'm using a piece of blue denim cardstock, and this is cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and I will be layering it on top of a white card base, A2 size card base. And this is also something that's new I'm really excited about. It's a Gina K Designs tape runner. So if you loved the Connect glue, you are going to absolutely love this tape runner. It is a really great dot runner, holds wonderfully, nice and sticky, and I'm attaching that to all of my snowflakes. Now, I started to get confused on which ones were attached, so I'm just going to move the ones that are loose and trim off these excess on the back. Now, I don't want to throw these away just yet because you can use these to attach to the other side of a card, because I wanted to kind of have a random pattern on here, but it looks nice when you have some that are hanging off. So I'm going to save those pieces for later. And then I can go ahead and finish attaching the rest of these smaller snowflakes in some of those empty areas, trying not to have them line up perfectly. I wanted them scattered. And then I'll go ahead and take the tweezers, attach some of that tape runner, and put them off on the side. I think that just looks really nice when you have some that are kind of peeking in on the card. And adding a few there yet on top. And the white cardstock that I'm using is the Gina K Designs white cardstock, and this is a really nice thick cardstock. It's a really nice heavyweight cardstock. So if you're looking something for your card bases, this is perfect. Then I also took the Warm Wishes sentiment, stamped that on a double stitched circle die, and added that to the front of my card with some foam squares just to give a little dimension. And because I can never have enough sparkle, I took some white jewels from Pretty Pink Posh and I'm adding them to the center of my snowflakes and then just kind of sporadically around the area. And that will finish off my first card. So I do have another one to share with you in just a moment. And I'll just give you a closer look here at this snowflake card. And this is from Baby It's Cold Outside stamp and foil set. My next card is going to be using the Holly Jolly stamp and foil set. This one I'm going to start off by creating my background first so it gives it some time to dry. So what I did is take some of the Gina K Designs heavyweight cardstock and I'm attaching it to this lovely lace stencil with some purple tape. So I attach mine to the back of the stencil so that way I can move this around if I want. And I'm going to apply a layer of the Tonic Nouveau Moonstone Glimmer Paste. And this is just a really gorgeous white on white that gives us a really classic look. So I'm using my spatula and I'm just heavily applying it to all of my areas. You want to be really careful because this is a very delicate stencil. I did have a little piece there pop up on me, but I honestly didn't even notice when it dried, so it must have smoothed itself out. And once I have that fully covered, I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to scrape off that excess. But like I said, you have to be careful because this is a delicate stencil. Once that's done, I'm going to peel this back, rinse off the stencil immediately with some soapy warm water because otherwise that'll dry and you won't get it off. This is a look at the Holly Jolly stamp set, so you can see there's lots of great Christmas images on here, some layering you can do with the stamp set, and also coordinates wonderfully with the Foil Mates collection. So I'm starting off, I'm just going to show you here, this is the holly that I'm going to stamp. So I lined that up with my leaves and I'm using Lucky Clover ink from Gina K Designs. Stamping that down, and then I'm going to do my berries in the red velvet. And so you kind of maneuver this. You can see I've been playing with it because it is discolored, it is red, so I've stamped this a few times, but that discoloration does not affect the stamping whatsoever. It actually kind of helps me line that up a little better because they're not clear and kind of mix in with the white background, so I can see it better this way. And now I'm going to do that for my poinsettia too. I'm lining up those petals as best as I can and then stamping with the red velvet ink. And I didn't even need to double stamp. That's one thing I really love about Gina's inks is I hardly ever have to double stamp anything. And I just did this layer in red too, kind of limiting how many colors I had thrown around my desk. Now pick that up. The Misty tool does really help when you're stamping. I highly recommend it, but you could just go ahead and use an acrylic block or any other stamping platform that you have. I just prefer the Misty. It is really helpful, so if my paper shimmies, I still have that lined up and I can just adjust my paper. And then I'm doing the inside with the Wild Dandelion ink. So here's my background that I had created with the glimmer paste. It's dry now. It took maybe a good half hour for it to be fully dry, and I trimmed it down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then using the Gina K Designs tape runner, I just attached that to a white A2 size card base. I stamped the Holly Jolly in Gina's Amalgam ink, and I used the white cardstock and red velvet cardstock using the double stitched oval die as my center. So now I'll go ahead and get everything attached. I was a little nervous how well I was going to get this to attach to that glimmer paste, but I used Gina's Connect glue and just held that down for an extra couple seconds to really get that to attach, and it's attached perfectly. Even checking on it hours later, it stuck really well to that textured background. And the Holly Jolly, I did pop that up with some foam squares just to give it a little bit dimension. So now I'll go ahead and start working on attaching my foiled leaves. You can see here I did run those through my foiling machine. For the leaves, I used a silver foil. And for the flower, I actually used some of the sparkling red. I'll have all of that linked down below in my video description, and on my blog as well. I give some more details on what I had used. So now that I have the holly attached to my poinsettia where I wanted it to curve around the sentiment, I'm going to go ahead and add foam squares to the left-hand side of my little bundle here. So that way it's going to be even with my popped up sentiment, and then I can add the Gina K Designs Connect glue on the right-hand side. So that's going to get glued down to the sentiment piece, and then the foam squares will attach to the textured background. And these are so gorgeous once foiled. You could use the gold, you could use red. There's just so many different combinations you could use for this. They're really beautiful. And so now that is ready to go. And one more final touch is I'm going to take some Nuvo drops. Now this is in honey gold. And so this has got just some gold sparkles. And I'm adding those to the center of my flower. And it just really made them sparkle. So here's a closer look. This is such a classic Christmas card to me. I just fell in love with this. At the end of this video, I do have a couple more cards to share with you that I had created. I will have more details and pictures on my blog along with a full supply list, so be sure to visit there. I really hope you enjoyed watching me create these cards today. Thank you so much for joining. If you did like it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.